Big holes keep popping up in the stories told by Michael Wolff, author of Fire and Fury, the alleged inside account of the Trump administration. Wolff told NBC yesterday that the 25th Amendment, providing for removal of the president by his cabinet, was, quote, a concept that is alive every day in the White House, end quote. But then he had this to say this morning.
Did you speak with any members of the president's cabinet for this book?
I did not.
You did not?
I did not.
And did you speak with the vice president?
I did not.
Okay, so we've had a little bit of a guest issue, but David Webb has kindly agreed to stick around and join us again. And in our nation's capital is David Goodfriend, who was Deputy Secretary to President Bill Clinton, Chief of Staff. Now, this guy never even interviewed the VP, never interviewed the cabinet officials. I don't think he ever interviewed any of the first family. Did he talk to Ivanka? Did he talk to Eric? Did he talk to Don Jr.? Because a lot of this stuff does not ring true, David. How much of this do you think is just pure fiction?
Well, this is why I don't dive into stories of palace intrigue. They're often way overblown. He says he spoke initially gave the impression that he had spoken to everyone, that he had this unfettered access. He could walk around. And maybe he did for a little bit, but you've been in the West Wing. I've been in the West Wing. It's not that easy to go in and out of rooms. And now we find out he can't answer pointed questions. These questions were never asked before the book came out. They just took it as fire and fury, a Trump administration in its demise going down in flames. What's going down in flames is another author who wrote another book that's salacious. It's like a bad soap opera, except this one won't be back in reruns.
Okay. David, the other David, let me ask you a question, because I don't understand how this makes sense. The central premise of the book is that Trump didn't want to win the election. So if he didn't want to win the election, why was he colluding with the Russians to win the election? I don't get it.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of weird questions that pop up around this book. I'd be the first to say that as well. It kind of reminds me when I worked in the Clinton White House, you had people who would leave the White House and then write these expose books, which I thought was kind of betraying the privilege of having worked in the White House. And I think here, too, we should just assume, at least I'm going to assume, let's say 50% of everything in that book is just flat out wrong. Just write it off, 50% of it. We don't know which 50%, but in my view, if only 50% of what's been said in this book is real, it is incredibly damaging, and all you have to do is look at the president's own reaction. You know, if somebody says something about me that's a lie, I blow it off. I don't even react. This president became the first president in U.S. history to pronounce, I am sane, really, I am. And that makes me think he's protesting a little too much.
Well, let me tell you why the president has to say something like that. Because if CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, and they all spend 48 hours bringing up shrinks to say the president of the United States is crazy, and then the president of the United States is asked to respond to that, the headline then becomes the president defends his sanity. That's how the media plays these games.
So
that's
think about
exactly
what
the media does.
Hold on, let's let Webb get in.
Here on Fox News, people said Barack Obama isn't really a citizen of the United States. That was totally crazy. Now, President Obama didn't jump out and say, I'm really a citizen. Really, I am. Here I am. No.
Well, I don't know who on Fox News said that,
just right.
David. I can't name one person on Fox News that said that.
What's happening
and
is
eventually he did produce his birth certificate.
Himself is actually, it's raising the sales of the book. Now the book is becoming a bestseller precisely because Trump is talking about it.
Well, that's true. The book's through the roof now. Maybe that's why Corey didn't come on the show tonight, because it maybe knocked his book down a few rungs on the New York Times bestseller list. But it's so funny to be called insane by the left, who's screaming at the sky, who's wearing hats with genitalia. You know, Bernie Sanders thinks global warming is more of a threat than ISIS. If anybody's insane, I think it's people on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at this, and I'm going to use a big word for the left now, this compendium of what's false and what's true, all these things they've said about Trump, and this is, he delayed the fake news awards till next week. I don't really care about that. I care about policy. That's what I care about. They put all this stuff at him, and then you attack the man, you attack his family, you attack his wife, You attack his daughter. Representative Cohen attacks an 11-year-old boy, Barron, his son, on Twitter. What do you expect a father to do? He's going to defend himself. And when President Trump became president, he didn't give up his right to say what's on his mind. No president ever has or does. And frankly, I like a guy who's going to fight because I'm sick of the left
he's
throwing
got a
punches
counterpunch.
and the Republicans not counterpunching.
Because he's got the entire media and the Democratic Party against
your
him.
Tears. I'll send you guys a box of tissues you can wipe away.
I don't need a box of tissues, pal. Let me tell you, David, I love you. You're a good man. But I'm like Trump. I don't need tissues.
All right, guys, let's move on because I want to play some sound. David, I want to play some new sound that's coming in. There's this new attempt to undermine President Trump that's just unfolding tonight. He's at the College Football National Championship this evening. Earlier, he took the field for the anthem, and he sang along. But now people on the left are claiming he doesn't know the words to the national anthem. All right, so first we're going to show you the clip that's making the rounds on Twitter, and then we've got an edited shot to show you from when he sang the whole thing, word for word. Take a look.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming.
All right, so I don't know if you can see the video there, good friend, but I mean, the guy, he's singing along with the national anthem, and now the top trend on Twitter is saying Trump doesn't know the words to the national anthem. I mean, give it a rest.
Yeah, so I actually looked at the video, and I think everybody should, just so that you take a look for yourself. And from my viewpoint, sometimes he's singing along, and sometimes he's not. Sometimes his lips are moving, and sometimes they're not. I don't know if that means he doesn't know the words. I think you're jumping to conclusions.
Wait, so do you think the President of the United States doesn't know the words to the national anthem?
No, I just think he doesn't like to sing, probably.
Well, that's smart. I mean, I don't like to sing either. It's not because I don't know the words.
Right, but here's the problem is the left assigns this value. No, hang on, David. The left assigns the value of he doesn't know. It's what they did to Reagan. He's a dumb actor. He doesn't know what he's doing. They assign these values to people because it fits their narrative. Just like they went out and said the president was being booed. So I listened to it. I actually watched it live. And I rewound it, and I watched it, and I rewound it, and I watched it. And I'm sitting there listening to this going, the first thing I said was, the left's going to come out and they're going to say he doesn't know the words when they know nothing. It's like a psychiatrist who knows he's crazy, but has actually never talked to him.
Right. Well, and then there's no way that the President of the United States, Republican Donald Trump, is getting booed when Georgia is playing Alabama down in Atlanta. Guys, I got to run, though. I got to run.
Elected a Democrat to the Senate, so you got to love Alabama. Just elected a Democrat to the Senate. There's hope for them yet.
Roll Tide.
Yeah.